Hello, my friends, and welcome to Youth Potential, a channel dedicated to helping young people with mental health problems. I have two books available, 102 Distraction Techniques and Self-Harm to Self-Harmony. Both of these books are only available on Amazon. Thank you very much for watching this video. Hello, my friend Scott here representing Youth Potential. Thank you very much for voting on this video, guys. I've had over 200 responses on this poll for this video, and this video is called My Thoughts on Self-Harm. So this video is basically just kind of my opinions, just thoughts on self-harm, just general stuff. I may have mentioned some of these things in videos previously. However, I just kind of wanted to bundle everything together in one video for you guys. I appreciate the fact that you guys appreciate what I have to say, what I think about things on self-harm. So yeah, let's just get on with the video. And it's just going to be just random, not random, I have actually written down notes for this. Just kind of bits and bobs just on self-harm, just different things. There's no real kind of pattern or structure. It's just literally bullet points and just me talking about things to do with self-harm. So self-harm is an easy addiction to fall into. Once you try it once, the chances are you're either never going to do it again or you're going to be doing it a lot after that. I think it's too easy. And because it's something that you do on your own generally, that there's no one stopping you, and just when you live with mental illness, especially when it's something new to you in the beginning, or something that's kind of developed and become a part of your awareness, it is easy to do. You try it once, and I remember the first time I tried it, it was a bit of a shock to me, and I found myself doing it for the following 5 years, and then I went 7 years clean, and then 2 years later I've fallen back into it after a relapse. At this moment in time I'm 2 weeks clean, which is really good. But yeah, it's an easy addiction to fall into, and it's a really hard one to stop. It seems to be the most satisfying way to convert mental and emotional pain into physical pain. And I use the word seems there because deep down I know that self-harm is not necessarily the right thing to do, but it is definitely seems like a quick fix. It feels satisfying in the moment. You do it, releases those endorphins and dopamine as well. You get that kind of satisfaction. Everything that was, all the intensity was going on up in here or in here, kind of gets silenced. And then you just feel the pain on your skin, or wherever it is on your body that you've inflicted pain. Self-harm, there seems to be some paradoxes within self-harm. One of them being we can try to hide self-harm, but at the same time we get accused of attention seeking if people find out. I know that's not the case for everybody, but I'm sure the majority of you have experienced that. I've been called an attention seeker, not so much as an adult now, but during my teenage years, as much as I tried to hide it, sometimes you slip up, people notice it, and you get called an attention seeker. Bit of a paradox there. Another paradox is that when it comes to self-harm, we do it because we want to have control. And the paradox is that we're not really in control. If you think about it, we're hurting ourselves. That's not really a sign of mental stability or really a sign of control. But when we do it, we do feel that kind of element of control. And the other paradox is that we encourage others not to self-harm. However, we find it really difficult to encourage ourselves not to self-harm. We find it easy to talk other people out of self-harm, but we will still go ahead and do it ourselves. It's almost like we need that other person to help us stop. It's a very difficult thing to do on our own, but we find it very easy to give other people advice and encourage them not to do it. And there's a nice little sense of satisfaction when we're able to help other people not self-harm. It's really hard to tell people that you've self-harmed. It really is. Even though we know deep down inside we should be talking about it, we should be opening up, expressing our feelings. But it is hard to talk to people about self-harm, especially with our loved ones, our friends, our family, our partners. It's hard to open up about it. even if they say to us, you know, you can tell me anything, I won't be disappointed or disgusted or shocked, we still find it difficult. No matter how many times we've done it, no matter how many times we want to try and open up about it, it is difficult. You know, even now I say to my partner, I will tell you if I've self-harmed, but it's still difficult. It's still difficult to kind of get that thought of talking into actually vocalizing it. It's never easy. No matter how many times we tell them or show them, we feel like we've disappointed them, like we've upset them or hurt them in some kind of way. And I think that's the kind of thing that holds us back from talking about it. We know deep down that they won't. You know, they love us unconditionally. They will never push us away for doing it. But there's still that little part of us that holds us back. Triggers are almost impossible to avoid. There are things that we can foresee that enable us to avoid triggers. Like, for example, you think about going somewhere and then you hold yourself back and think, actually, that place triggers me. There's, you know, something unpleasant happened to me in the past there. I'm going to avoid going there. And that's really good. If you can foresee those kinds of things triggering you and staying away from it, that's really good. That's really, you know, it's a healthy thing to do. But sometimes things trigger us, you know, they just come out at us in public, or we see something pop up on the internet or in a movie or in a song, and we just can't help it. You know, and the best thing we can do is we have to be reactive rather than proactive, and we have to distract ourselves as best as possible. The best distractions are ones that involve other people, you know, just being around other people, talking to them and them just comforting us, you know, they are the best ones. But sometimes we're on our own and we have to resort to things like breathing techniques or a stress toy, or counteracting it with an activity of some kind. I'm grateful that if I do cut, if I do have a little relapse, I can recognise it as just being like a blip, not so much a massive setback. So if I do self-harm, I don't get too disappointed with myself. I'm quite fortunate because I know a load of people don't feel that way. But you guys know, if you've been watching my videos, especially my one on why I don't aim for recovery, you'll know that no matter what happens to me, it's all a part of my journey. It's not a setback. It's not defining me. It's not stopping me from doing what I want to do in the future. It's not holding me back in any way, shape or form. You know, it's a symptom or it's a disorder or whatever. It's a part of the illness. I've accepted that, and sometimes it's really hard to distract myself. It's really hard to be in control. You know, I can't always do it all of the time. Most of the time I can, but not all of the time. And when it does happen, I don't need to feel let down by it. Last year I did a video on baby cuts. It's called Baby Cuts Why, or baby cut syndrome, as my friend Malika puts it. I've got to a stage where I can recognise that no matter how I self-harm, no matter how many cuts there are or how deep it is, etc., self-harm is self-harm, okay? I don't need to look at other people's cuts and think, you know, well, they're not as bad as mine, or they are worse than mine, and I don't need to let that influence me in how I self-harm. It's all forms of self-harm are worthy of help, are worthy of treatment. You know, it's not something that needs to be measured. I know it's easy to look at other people's cuts and think, oh, they're worse off than me, but that's not what it's about, okay? If you self-harm, doesn't matter the volume, the quality, the quantity, whatever, it is self-harm, and you're worthy of treatment. I am worthy of treatment. I'm worthy of help, support, okay? We're all worthy. I'm worthy, you're worthy. It takes a while to get to that kind of level of acceptance, but it is possible. Another thing that some of you might disagree with is that I don't believe in the uploading of graphic self-harm images or videos. Now you could say, you know, we've got the freedom to express ourselves in any way we want, but should we be allowed to express ourselves in a way that is detrimental to another person's well-being? In other words, Are these videos and images, you know, should we upload them and trigger other people? It's a bit of a controversial subject. I know some people have disagreed with me, but that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion. I agree with the fact that we should be allowed to express ourselves, however, not at the expense of other people's well-being. So if you're going to be putting graphic images out there and other people are going to be looking and it's going to trigger them to want to self-harm, that's where I draw the line. You know, it's not fair. Yes, you should be allowed to express yourselves, and there are other ways to express your feelings about things. Okay, there are more constructive ways, more positive, more creative ways without triggering other people. Don't get me wrong, I'm the first one to put my hand up and say, I've looked for these images, these videos, but I know it's not right, it's not healthy for me, but I would never ever upload images of self-harm or videos of self-harm for, you know, because I know it will affect other people, and it's not fair, it's not good for anyone. I don't believe self-harm is right, and I equally don't agree that self-harm is wrong. Okay, it's not wrong, it's not right, it is what it is. I know it's not healthy, but at the same time I know it's nothing to be ashamed of. I believe that people that self-harm are braver and stronger than they give themselves credit for. You know, we put up with mental health issues. We put up with the shitty circumstances of life, the situations we've been put in, and it is hard. They are hard to deal with. We may self-harm as a coping mechanism, but we're still alive. And in my book, that is a sign of strength and bravery. Around the world, self-harm is being more and more understood and recognised, but we have to continue to educate other people and raise awareness on self-harm. And finally, as much as these scars, these self-harm scars will stay with me forever and they will always remind me of the past, they do not dictate or act as a measurement for my future. They're in the past, they happened time ago or recently, but they are not determining what happens to me in my future. Okay guys, thank you very much for watching. All the best, take care, bye.